let's not kid ourselves. Sid winning the Cups, Malkin has been a great support guy. So Matthews is going to need to have a real support guy with him. We saw Ovechkin do it when he got support. I go back to Steve Yzerman. I was with Steve Yzerman for 5 years in Detroit, and we had challenges. We won a couple of rounds, but I mean, we got knocked out by the Leafs in the first round. We got knocked out by San Jose. Stevie Y couldn't get it done. He couldn't get over the hump because he was solo. And once Stevie got the support cast with him, once Larionov came in and Konstantinov became a star and Lidstrom became a star, and he got the support group, Stevie became the greatest captain and one of the greatest captains in the history of the game. But I'm telling you, for 5, 7, 8, 9 years, Stevie had a tough time getting over the hump at playoff time. Got his 50 goals, 40 goals, 50 goals, whatever it was, but getting over the hump in the playoff time, you need unbelievable support from Marner, Nylander, and company, Tavares, Riley, whoever it's going to be. That's the only way you win. And Sid and Malk and Sid and Ovi got support. So, yeah, a lot's on him. Yeah, he's got to fight through everything. I mean, Sherratt and these guys can't intimidate, can't bother, can't get in his face. I mean, but it's also the support of his teammates to take him there.
Yeah, one of the guys that they banked on adding a little bit of that stability and support at the deadline is Mark Giordano, who's been pretty good. Pretty good along Liljegren. He had a moment where he got walked by Blake Wheeler last night, but, everyone has their bad moments. The talk around Leaf Nation that I see is just like, you got to get this guy re-signed. They got to, he's a valuable piece of this. You need him. Kipper and I have argued back and forth on what would potentially be a reasonable value. I tend to think this is a guy still playing top 4 minutes and he's still going to cost some money. Kipper, he was suggesting that you offer him the league minimum, like Spezza type deal.
Yeah, I like that.
He is a Toronto guy. Do you think he'd be offended if you went to him with something that low?
I look, Giordano's done everything in his career, from Norris to being a captain to being a leader, but he's never won. And he's hardly ever won at playoff time. They have one run? Yep. One run in his time in Calgary. You know what? I would think that the biggest issue for Mark would be an opportunity to win. I mean, I compare it to a Bork. I don't know what contract situation, but I have a hard time believing that money will be an issue for him. I mean, I don't think he will be insulted because they understand the game. They understand the dollars in the game. They understand the Leafs situation. Do you embarrass them? No, you don't embarrass them, but you don't pay him big money at 39 years of age. You don't give him big term. You work with them to say, hey, we think you can be an important part, but this is where we are cap-wise. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, guys. They need a goaltender really bad this summer, whether it's Jack, whether he reestablishes himself, but they need to go out and find a number one goalie. It's going to cost them, if there's anybody out there, going to cost them a lot of money. How much money are they going to have for Mark Giordano at 39? I'm with Kipper. But you work with them and you approach it in a professional way, and Kyle's good at that. That hey, we want you to be part of this group, but we cannot afford to pay you big money. That's where I'd go.
So Justin Bourne says,
I don't think he'd be insulted. Justin Bourne, yeah. Well, he can write that in his article.
Well,
he wants to give him $5 million. I was on with these guys. Name Benning. Is it Jim Benning?
Jim Benning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Gunning. It's Gunning.
I'm Brent Gunning. I'm not former Canucks GM.
All right, okay.
I'll take it. If anyone wants to offer me a position.
I was on with these guys a few months ago, and the two of them were talking that Jack Campbell is going to get $6 million. And I said, are you guys serious? Like, am I really listening to this? That's what so let's not get carried away with what Bourne wants.
I'm going to stick to non-GM roles for now.
I was just going to say, Justin Bourne says one thing.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
And former player and former GM say another. I'm just saying. I think I kind of know which side I want to side with, especially because that side has Mark Giordano making like $850 next year.
That,
and I definitely like that.
No, I didn't. I don't say $850, but okay, I think
Kipper
you come in with something that Kipper, that's fine. He wants to pay him what Spetz is making, I'm sure.
Yeah,
he
does.
He wants to pay him in Little Buddha, probably.
But Spezza played 7 minutes last night, or 8 minutes, or 10 minutes, and Simmons played 7 minutes. I mean, so if you're going to bring Giordano back, he's got to be a 20-minute guy. And you know what? Here's the big test, guys. And let's not get too carried away with Mark, although he's had an amazing career. Let's see how he performs at 39 in the rigors of a Stanley Cup playoff. Let's see how that goes. And I think you got to step back and say, okay, can at 39 he handle a Tampa Bay or a Boston in a 7-round series, and then another 7-game series, and see where he is at the end of 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would sign up for seeing that, honestly, Doug. Like, he'd finally win.
Well, yeah.
You talk about the goaltending. You talk about the goaltending there, and what does it do for a team when you just have this much uncertainty? I guess the good thing is that they can say, well, Campbell's been hurt, and that wasn't really him the last time we saw him, and we believe Campbell can be the guy that we saw earlier this season. But what does it do to a team when you're looking at pretty much one option? Because the magic is off with Shalgren here. He's kind of falling back to earth after his shutout in his first start, and Peter Mrazek's hurt for 6 weeks. So what is it like for a team when there's no real backup plan? It's got to be this guy, and it's a guy you're kind of uncertain about.
Well, I think it's frightening. I really do. I mean, I said it last year going into the playoffs that the guy had never played a playoff game in his life and hardly plays even regular season games. And then we're going into a second year into the playoffs, and he's the number one guy, and he's played one series in the playoffs, essentially. And he's been hurt most of the season, and he struggled for half the season, and he was really good the first half. So you guys know the same as anybody in hockey knows that the number one position at playoff time is your goaltender. You don't think Tampa Bay coming in with Vasilevsky and Boston, whether you like the kid Swayman and the kid Ullmark, have been both really pretty solid for them. Florida's goaltender Bobrovsky, I think they'll give him the run support that he needs to win. But if he starts to stumble, I think Florida can score their way out of a round, because if Bobrovsky slips. But the way Bobrovsky's played this year, Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, Boston's team defense, that's a tough first round. So you better have great goaltending if you're going to win and compete in those series. And I'd be really scared about that. I really would be. I mean, last night, Schallberg, he was good, but he let in 4 goals. 4 goals go in,
Yeah.
That's frightening.
It is. It is a concerning position for Leafs fans. Last one for me, Doug, and just want to get your take on something which I wrote a little bit about today. Willie Nylander gets a kick in the pants from his coach, down to the third line, just taking off the second line in an earlier game before that. And he's played 2 games since, and he's been awesome. He's been dynamic, engaged, taking the puck to the net. What do you do with a guy like this? Is there ever a chance to get him to play like that version of him every game, or you just got to live with the fact that it's not going to be there sometimes?
You know what? I like the way he bounced back after getting the kick in the butt. Yeah. I do. And what I liked about it is he battled the score. He really battled the score, which he hadn't been doing, and he'd been playing on the edges, and he wasn't getting involved. I liked this game. So, it's like I've told you this story many times about the kid that comes into your office and said, "Hey, why am I on the 4th line? Why am I on the 4th line? It's not fair. I'm always on the 4th line." And the coach says, "Because I don't have a 5th line. That's why you're on the 4th line." So